serving in this House and have seen the previous shutdown. For the debate over the last 72 hours might give the impression that in actuality there's been no attempt at compromise by the Democrats or by the President of the United States. Let me disabuse you of those horrible myths. First of all, there are many Democrats who voted for an ugly term by the name of sequester, which means that it was a compromise to Republicans to not shut down the government 2 years ago, to take an ugly number that has hurt families across America, that has closed Head Start seats, that has underfunded major infrastructure projects when cities and counties across America and states have been crying out and begging for the fixing of the national highway system, long overdue. Airports, long overdue. But we accepted this ugly word called sequester because the original team of members, again, could not find a compromise, Republicans and Democrats, because, again, Republicans were listening to the far-right voices and did not want the government to operate, simply did not want a federal government. So the American people should know that right now we're operating under sequester. Our staffs are furloughed. We are operating with shortened staff when lines of cases are in our offices. Our staffs are being penalized, and their job is to serve the American people, to answer those phones and to make sure that desperate calls from around the world of constituents that are stranded, of families who need help for their soldier sons and daughters, or husbands and wives, or seniors who need to be helped or to be straightened out in the confusion of the Medicare and Social Security system sometimes. That is the work that we do. We make the government work. But yet, right now, we're operating under furloughs. The government itself is operating under furloughs. And that's an ugly term for some people. Well, let the government fall. But I don't view it as a government. I view it as people. And so last night, it looked as if there was no compromise. But you have to understand that the last-ditch effort of the Republican conference was a save face, knowing full well that they had every opportunity to stop the shutting down of the government by supporting something called a CR and all of these acronyms for our constituents. What is that? What the heck is it? It simply meant that we would keep the doors open until November 15th, and reasonable men and women, reasonable minds, constituents could have input. Discussions could be entered into about what are the pros and cons of running this government. What is the value of the government? How do we meet to the founding fathers' values? In the Constitution, it said, we formed this union to make it more perfect, so that all men and women, I might add, would have the right for the great values of this nation. But each time over the weekend, there was one obstacle after another. One Republican member put up a silly amendment about denying women preventative care in health care, dealing with their gynecological needs, their health needs. And so I think it is important to be able to know the truth. They say that the truth will set you free. And the truth is that we now have a sense of rebels who really don't have a cause, because the cause should be the American people. I note that in my own community, a base that services the National Guard was shut down immediately at midnight last evening or early this morning. These are the consequences. Veteran service centers, Mr. Speaker, senior citizens not getting Medicare processed. And so you have an opening, my friends, and the opening and the solution is to have a CR till November 15th, and then we can address the needs of the American people. With that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back, looking for a solution and prepared to work for the American people right now. Right now. Mr. Speaker, put it on the floor of the House and let us vote. I yield back.
The gentlelady's time has expired.